Namaskar, Honorable Vice President Madhav Kaushikji, respected Secretary, esteemed members and officials of the Sahitya Akademi, the esteemed Sahitya Akademi Translation awardees from different parts of the country, and all the distinguished guests and audience present in this assembly of cultured souls. A warm greetings from Assam to all of you present here, and let me wish you all a very happy New Year 2022 in advance for a joyous and meaningful happy life ahead. Let me extend first my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to all of you at Sahitya Akademi for selecting the Assamese translation of Sri Aurobindo's magnum opus on Indian culture, entitled The Foundations of Indian Culture, now retitled as The Renaissance in India and Other Essays on Indian Culture, for the 2020 Sahitya Akademi Translation Prize in Assamese. I am indeed doubly delighted as a devotee of Mahayogi Sri Aurobindo to have been awarded for my translation of his monumental work on Indian culture into Assamese at a time when his auspicious sesquicentenary is being celebrated across the length and breadth of this great land, as well as in different parts of the globe, along with the celebration of 75th glorious years of India's independence. When India achieved independence on 15th August 1947, Sri Aurobindo sent a message to the nation through All India Radio Trichinopoli on the eve of that great moment on 14th August 1947, in which he unambiguously declared, and let me quote, "August 15th is the birthday of free India. It marks for her the end of an old era, the beginning of a new age, but it has significance not only for us, but for Asia and the whole world. For it signifies the entry into the committee of nations of a new power with untold potentialities, which has a great part to play in determining the political, social, cultural, and spiritual future of humanity. To me, personally, it must necessarily be gratifying that this day, which was notable only for me because it was my own birthday, celebrated annually by those who have accepted my gospel of life, should have acquired this vast significance. As a mystic, I take this identification not as coincidence or fortuitous accident, but as a sanction and seal of the divine power which guides my steps on the work with which I began life. I too take this prestigious Sahitya Akademi Translation Prize bestowed upon my work not as coincidence or fortuitous accident, but as a seal and sanction of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother on the mission of my life that I have undertaken since my day of resignation from the government service in 2012. I feel indeed blessed and graced by them and would like to offer this prize at their lotus feet as my homage from the deepest core of my being. My late father, Kailasnath Sharma, was a great lyricist, poet, and translator par excellence. His literary works include more than 1,000 lyrics in Assamese and almost 400 poems in 3 different languages, namely the Assamese, the English, and the Bangla, amongst a wide variety of creative works, besides leaving a massive legacy of translation works in Assamese. He was the proud Assamese translator of the gigantic work on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which was originally authored by Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak, besides translating a host of novels, short stories, and other books into Assamese from the Bangla as well as from the English. I was, therefore, naturally attracted towards translation since my formative years of adolescence and youth. For my father's work had a tremendous and decisive impact on my whole being and consciousness. I have in fact inwardly accepted this prestigious Sahitya Akademi Translation Prize on behalf of my great father, poet, lyricist, and translator, late Kailasnath Sharma. My mother, Mrinalini Devi, a writer, is at present the Vice President of the Assam Sahitya Sabha, the highest and the apex literary body of Assam. Her relentless effort and aspiration as a writer and a speaker, even at the age of 83, has been indeed a secret source of my aspiration. My wife's sincere and selfless cooperation and her loving best wishes has always been a source of strength for me. The love and affections of all my four brothers, though one of us is no more in this physical world, who are two writers and translators in their own rights, have always encouraged and strengthened me in my all literary efforts and endeavors. I remember all of them from the bottom of my heart at this happy moment of my life. I was born with a deep sense of love and adoration for anything Indian, as well as with a tremendous attraction for Swami Vivekananda for reasons obviously not known then to me, which ultimately led me to be associated with the nationalist students' movement in India. During that period, I was introduced to the works of great thinker and writer late Sitaram Goel, as well as with the consciousness of the living sage of the post-independent India, the most revered Ramswarupji. Their works had a tremendous impact on me in my those formative years and influenced my consciousness during the whole period of my youth to a great extent, which ultimately led me to translate one of the books originally authored by late Sitaram Goel in Hindi as early as in the late 80s. That was my first published work in Assamese. We do not perceive Indian culture only as a cultural system, but as an immense religious effort of the human spirit, not for mere repetition of the old forms meaninglessly, but as an effort towards evolution of higher and deeper consciousness for realizing the yet unrealized future ideals of the human race. But William Mercer, a dramatic critic, in his book published in 1917 entitled India and the Future, assailed the whole life and culture of India and even lumped together all her greatest achievement as repulsive mass of unspeakable barbarism. Sir John Woodruff, a scholar and a writer on tantric philosophy, wrote another book in 1918 under the title Is India Civilized? In answer to Arthur's book, and insisted that an attack of this kind ought not to be neglected. Sri Aurobindo began a series with the same title, that is India Civilized, in response to Woodruff's book, and another one entitled A Defense of Indian Culture, to deal in more detail with William Mercer's criticisms of India. With all these essays, a book entitled The Foundations of Indian Culture was first published, which has already been retitled as The Renaissance in India and Other Essays on Indian Culture by incorporating 4 more essays on the Renaissance in India. All awards indeed carries in itself a tremendous sense of responsibility on the part of the awardees and demand a continuity and progress and perfection in his or her works. I am perfectly aware of this fact and will surely continue to aspire for with my mission of translation. I am also perfectly aware of my limitations and shortcomings. Neither am I a scholar, nor do I possess any scholarship. My Shraddha and a sense of offering anything and everything at the lotus feet of the Divine Mother is my sole source of strength and audacity. Rest entirely belong to and depend on her. With my heartfelt thanks and gratitude once again to all of you at Sahitya Akademi, I finally conclude here. Thank you and namaskar to all. Thank you.